Standing up here, it looks amazing. You look absolutely amazing. Look at everyone who's turned up here today. We had members of parliament, we had city councillors, we had community board members, we had leaders from every walk of life in our community gathered here today. Good on you. You look great from up here, I have to say. Kia ora koutou katoa. We're all here today because we recognise that climate change provides significant challenges and risks to communities throughout New Zealand and throughout the world. But I want to say that at the same time, and maybe it's just flowing on from what I've just heard from our young person who knows how to speak for the generation that is to take the leadership into the next century, what we are seeing is that there are significant opportunities as well. And here in Christchurch, we should be seizing these opportunities. We should be leading the way. And I think that's something that we can do as a city. We are rebuilding and reimagining our city, but that requires leadership. And leadership starts with each and every one of you.
Occurred since 1998, 8 of them since 2005. The hotter weather has caused significantly changed weather patterns, causing major droughts and major floods right around the world, which was predicted by climate scientists 40 years ago. Scientists universally agree that if world average temperatures rise 2 degrees above 1850 levels, the feedback loops of the carbon and methane releases from the warming oceans and the melting tundra will take us beyond any possibility of stopping global warming. Prime Minister John Key, please stop subsidizing fossil fuels and take real effective action against climate change.
I should get my message across about climate change, because the people that are making decisions about climate change at the moment seem to be really old guys in suits. They're really disconnected. They don't know what we want. So my first idea was 60-year-old guys in suits like to talk to other 60-year-old guys in suits. So I thought that if I was a 60-year-old guy in a suit, maybe they'd listen to me. Then I realised that I neither own a suit and neither am able to become a 60-year-old man. Please please take action on climate change. I want to grow up in a world like you did. Please don't condemn my future. Thank you.
Doing now. This climate parade is a chance to celebrate our collective, to push for solutions to global warming. We celebrate our community today. We celebrate all the groups and the individuals who care about our future. And though we are protesting today, we are doing it in a positive and a friendly manner with our friends, with our neighbors, and with our community. Middle East. Thank you for joining us and for reminding us about the plight of the refugees.
Real climate action. When do we want it? Now. What do we want? Real climate action. When do we want it? Now. Action. Let's take climate action. As you go along the march, someone can lead and a group can follow. up to us. Government doesn't have the guts. Climate action is up to us. Government doesn't have the guts. Let's take climate action. Let's take climate action. People not pollution. It's time for our solution. People not pollution. It's time for our solution. People not pollution. It's time for our People not pollution. It's time for our solution. Climate action is up to us. Government doesn't have the guts.
With a seat, is here. I'm wondering about New Zealand first, if they would see a bit vote.
People not pollution. It's time for us. People not pollution. It's time for us solution. People not pollution. It's time for us solution. Action is up to us. Action is up to solution. People not pollution. It's time for our solution. People not pollution. It's time for our solution. People not pollution. It's time for our solution.
I'm sorry you're leaving.
Nice to see you.
Yeah.
Exactly what you're giving away.
World's biggest trade deal. How does it stack up for the environment? Pretty bloody madly, actually. Yes, I'm the bearer of sad news. I've looked at the 25 pages in the agreement itself. I've checked 30 different environmental organisation submissions, and I actually watched these submissions to Congress this week, the very first chapter of the American Congress. And the general conclusion is it has been universally condemned by all these organisations, and basically they think it's their worst nightmare. So why is it actually so bad? and our insurance premiums going up as a result of it. And so this chapter 20 of the world's greatest free trade agreement should have been an improvement on all previous.
And we have the willingness to play that part. Thank you again. Thank you from the Pacific nations. I would just like to share a little bit shortly on some of the effects that we see of climate change already happening in our Pacific nations. As you know, Pacific lives do matter. Our nations, although they may seem small, they are very wide, they are very vast in terms of our hearts. We don't have many mountains in our region, but our mountains are in our hearts. And our people are not drowning, we are fighting. We are fighting to survive. We are fighting in the Pacific because we believe that God has given us these nations to steward. And we're asking you, New Zealand, help us steward our nations. Help us steward the land and the ocean that has been divinely gifted to us. Would you help us? Would you stand with us? It's a question to ask the leaders as we're moving into COP21 happening in Paris. Ask them, would you help us? In Tonga already we are seeing sea level rise. We are seeing families that need to move from their traditional grounds which they have been on and their ancestors have been on, and the government needs to give them new land because someone's action somewhere forces them to move out of their homes.
The real issues, I'd like to say that the tide has turned. Given sea level rise, I think not. But people are realising what the Greens have been saying for 25 years is right. But this is beyond just the Greens, it's all of us. And the message we're trying to get through is for us, for our children's children, and for all of life on Earth, we've got to work together. The government, the people, everybody. So thank you for showing the commitment and coming out on a day like this. And if you think today's warm, sorry folks, get used to it.
Thank you, Bruce Hobbs from the Greens. And thank you. Now, our last speaker needs no introduction. Publicly, she's been fighting for the environment. Katie Sage!
Kia ora koutou katoa, ngā mihi nui kia koutou. Thank you for staying to the very end. Everyone here today has been part of something quite remarkable. Today we've been part of the world's largest climate mobilisation. The people in Paris couldn't march because of the terror attacks. We marched through for them throughout Aotearoa, New Zealand, and throughout the world. We have been part of something quite remarkable, calling for real action so that we get a livable planet to protect our future, our children's future, and our grandchildren's future, and to protect every species that shares this planet with us. And we in the Green Party stand in solidarity with everyone who has marched. And we're here because we understand that climate change isn't just the biggest issue of our time, it is the biggest issue of all time. One question. Do they put their hands over their eyes, their hands against their ears, and deny the inescapable truth of climate change? Or do they muster the best of their humanity, face their fears and act? Paris could be a watershed. There is genuine momentum and genuine desire for political change. Cyclones and more drought, as Emma so eloquently said. And we know that as a country we are capable of doing a whole lot better. We have led the world in the past. In Canterbury, Kate Shepherd and the suffragettes led the change to get the right to vote for women. We are proud of that. We are proud that in 1981, when the Springboks toured here, we marched to show our opposition to apartheid. That helped end apartheid and start a debate in New Zealand about race relations. We are